All right, good evening. I'm sorry, my Google Home just went off. Give me a second. All right, sorry about that. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Manhattan Community Board 3's Executive Committee meeting for the month of February 2022. So the first item will be roll call, and then we'll go with the approval of minutes. So Larissa, go right ahead.
Great, thank you. Okay, Paul Wrinkle,
Present.
Eric Diaz. Eric? I don't think I saw him in there.
Yes, had technical
Oh, Eric.
difficulties. All right, sorry.
Okay, hi, Eric. Okay, Tariq Duro.
Here.
Hi. Larissa Shainberg, present. Laura Lugo.
Here.
Hi, Laura.
Here she is.
Herman Hewitt.
Here.
Okay, Mei Lee.
Here.
Jackie Wong.
Here.
Linda Jones.
Here.
Michelle Cooper-Smith.
Present, and David is trying to get in, so just so you know. No, he's not. He's clicking on a link. He'll be in a moment. Yeah.
Okay. Trevor Holland.
Here.
And that's it. Thanks, Paul.
All right, thank you, Larissa. I think a couple days ago, the executive committee minutes were sent out for everybody for your review. Is there any amendments or any objections to the minutes? No, hearing none. Okay, the minutes are adopted. I got him. He's already promoted. Thank you. Minutes are adopted and accepted. Okay, so let's start. I'll start with my report. Just a couple of things. Board this morning mentioned that on March 16th, the executive order is probably going to expire, which means that we will be back to face-to-face meetings. Now, there's an outside shot, an outside hope of maybe getting virtual extended. Excuse me, getting virtual extended. But that would mean, what would that mean for us? That would mean after March 16th, March 17th will be executive committee. So that would most likely happen at the Community Board 3 office. And then full board would actually have to take place face-to-face. I guess we're going to eye for PS20. We did meet with the borough president's office earlier today for support, and hopefully they'll, they're doing their best. There was a resolution that we signed back in December asking for virtual meetings and hybrid meeting style. So we need a lot of support on that. We don't know what's going to happen after March 16th. Hopefully it gets extended until we have all of our ducks in a row, but we do have to prepare for after that date to be going back to face-to-face. So that would mean April committee meetings would be face-to-face. So just giving everybody a heads up on that. At least for all the committees leading up until executive will be virtual in the month of March, but executive and full board will, I would say about 90% will be face-to-face again. All right. After that, just a couple of things I wanted to go over. Agenda items. The office asks for agenda items a lot of times. You're going to get several emails either from Susan or Ed or anybody asking for agenda items for your committee for the following month. Try to be on time because the office has to send out invites if there has to be presenters or things that need to be researched or anything like that. And if we're under the gun to do that stuff, it doesn't help, right? We need a reasonable turnaround time to get your agenda items in. I know a lot of us work, myself included. We have day jobs that preclude us from doing a lot of stuff. We're involved in a lot of different things. I understand that, but still your role as a committee chair doesn't change as a result of that. Yeah, we have to find ways to manage our time better for a lot of those things and getting those items in, because you may not have a committee meeting that month if somebody can't make that time or date, and that's why we need a reasonable turnaround time on getting those agenda items. And that's really all I want to say on that. Susan may say some more about it in her report, but that's what I'm saying right now on my report. Let's get a reasonable turnaround time to get agenda items on for your committees. Right? A lot of you are veterans in doing that, and you can get that done, but some of you haven't done that, and we're rushing and clamoring to get items, and we got nothing. So I just want to make sure that we're on that. That goes hand in hand with the minutes. Minutes have been sent in late recently for whatever reason, and we have to get the vote sheets out by Friday, right? Ed has to get all those things ready and prepared, and we need to lock those in. Those minutes need to get in immediately once they're done, right? As soon as you possibly can, get them in. I know it's a challenge for this week. I know Michelle had SLA last night, so I know the challenge to get it in today. I understand that, right? But other committees, if you don't get your minutes in, it puts us behind the 8 ball as well. We're asking for agenda items, we're asking for minutes. It creates a lot more chaos than it needs to be, right? So I just wanted to talk about that as well. Please get the minutes in when you're supposed to get them in as quickly as possible, please. All right. I know there'll always be questions about them. Sometimes your secretary or whoever does the minutes for you may have some questions. Try to answer those questions as fast as possible, clean up whatever you need to clean up, and send those minutes to Ed, so that way he has those done and ready. The next thing I am working on is a Zoom facilitator kind of guideline. This is specific to the Zoom facilitators, not to the vice chairs or the chairs or anything like that, but just the Zoom facilitators. Certain things I'd like to see happen, like opening the room 10 to 15 minutes before the meeting starts, so that way the meeting starts right away. That way there's no issues. You can figure out all those technical issues. If somebody's an attendees and you need to promote them to panelists, you get that done. Do all that stuff, right? So I want to make sure everybody has clear set guidelines for facilitators. I've made mistakes with sending stuff out, things like that. So I want to make sure everybody has proper information to go off of, and then we just go from there. All right. David Crane's on the call. I want to thank David for being the interim chair for transportation until I find the right person. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate you stepping up and helping the board out, helping me out. So I just want to say thank you for doing that. It's really appreciated, and thank you. We are coming on new appointment time soon. Maybe some new members, there may be some people leaving. There may be some changes after April. So hopefully, we'll see who's new, and we'll see what the direction we go into in terms of committees and whatnot. Yeah, that's all I have. Unless anybody has any questions for me, please feel free.
Were you going to mention anything about service delivery?
Oh, I just wrote it up. It was on my top set of notes before. I was going to tee you up, but here we are. Yeah, so service delivery issues, I know those tend to be brought up at committees. I know it was definitely brought up at NYCHA a couple of weeks ago. It was brought up again. Service delivery specific items, that's not our purview, right? Susan's going to talk more about it in her report, but policy items, systemic items, those are the things we want to attack and put on agendas so we can help and do the best that we possibly can. But specific items, this elevator is broken, this floor, you got to reach out to the office. If somebody reaches out to the office, we do our best. I know sometimes even people reach out to elected officials, and sometimes the elected officials, even with the weight of their office, can't get stuff done for whatever reason, right? So just letting you know that even on agenda items, it's not something we do, right? It's specific to policy and systemic stuff. I'll take any questions now. I know Susan will talk more about that in her report. No questions? All right, so that's it for my report tonight. Thank you, and now we can go to the district manager's report.
Okay, thank you. I'm just saying it's been very busy and it's been very difficult recently, just in general with what's going on. But I think I would like to just give a little bit more content to some of the things Paul brought up. These are things that come up every few years, and the members that have been around a while, like Trevor and May, kind of got it down pat, and then we have to kind of start over with some of the other committees. So service delivery, that is working with agencies to fix something. It may be lights that are out. It might be a broken elevator. It might be construction problems that are private. It might be a private contractor, but it's regulated by the city. So all of those, many of them, we ask people to call 311 to get it in the system and to send it to the community board. The city charter delegates service delivery specifically to district managers and mandates that once a month they have a district service cabinet meeting to particularly deal with multi-agency problems. So if someone brings up a service delivery issue in a committee, there is no way, it is absolutely impossible for a committee to deal with it. You don't just write a letter or make a phone call or something. It takes knowledge about the problem. It takes tremendous amount of follow-up. And also the local offices, we kind of pool our resources, and different offices take the lead on different things. The community board office takes the lead on SLA because the SLA is mandated by state charter to consult with the community board. The council offices actually generally take the lead with NYCHA issues because they deal with it so much more than we do, and actually have more weight with NYCHA. We deal with a lot of things together. Isabel in Carlina's office and I just do, I'd say, a tremendous amount of service delivery together with one or the other taking the lead. So I think when it's brought up in a committee, it's actually a negative thing because then people think they're being taken care of and they're not being taken care of. Trevor remedied this in parks, and since he insisted people contact the office, it's actually been very productive because now we have stuff in writing to follow up on. And we found out certain things, like when someone complained about no lighting, we thought lights were out, but that wasn't the case. It's that there wasn't enough lighting and the existing lighting was dim. So we have to be able to work with constituents. So I know constituent problems were brought up in committees this month. I don't know why, because I do believe the chairs know that we don't deal with them in committees, and I don't know where it's going to go from there. I just want to say, as far as Paul alluded to last minute stuff, we have certain, different staff have different responsibilities. And Ed does a lot of the SLA stuff. He also archives the minutes, and after he archives the minutes, Kelvin proofreads them for mistakes, which we want to catch before the exec. So we can't do everything at once, and sometimes Kelvin doesn't get to proofread stuff if things come in very late. So I just wanted to ask people to consider that. I try to remember to remind people, but I'm not always going to, because it's not on a trigger calendar for me to remember to send in minutes, because I don't have minutes to send in. And if I'm really busy with a lot of other stuff, I may not go over to Ed and say who didn't send in minutes, so that I could follow up like I did this month. And I guess the last thing is the agenda. Nothing has changed about the agenda in a very long time. I try and work with chairs throughout the month if possible to, see what we can put on, what we can't. We cannot start inviting people last minute, like at the time of the exec. Everything should be finalized by the exec. So if we have a last minute agenda item that doesn't require anyone to come, we can throw that on. But if it starts invites, we don't even necessarily have time to do that the next day. And I know, like for one of the committees, they sent out an invite today for something that was going to be on the agenda, and the person said, I can't make that date. So we're now starting over at the beginning on that. So the point is to try and be efficient so that we can support your committees as well as possible. That's the whole aim. Ask me questions anytime, or, talk about it. I certainly understand stuff like, Michelle had SLA last night. There's no way she's going to have the minutes in today, but that goes without saying. So I know it's kind of boring to go hear this all the time, but I'm sorry, it's what we do. I just wanted to say people might have, I'm sure you've read about the woman that was killed on Christie Street Friday night, and the Post mistakenly reported that the man who killed her was a resident of Bowery Mission. He wasn't, and they've now retracted that. He was not a resident at Bowery Mission or any shelter. So I just wanted to, correct that information from the paper. And I think that's it, unless there's any questions.
Any questions for Susan? Don't all raise your hands at once. Oh, okay. Okay, so just, it's not on the agenda right now. Thank you, Susan. Did you want anything else, or good? Okay, thank you. Just, it's not on the executive committee agenda, but just something I wanted to bring up, and it kind of goes along with the agenda items and things like that. Media highlights for social media, and I know we're thinking about some other forms of social media down the line, hopefully sooner than later. I know May did it for her committee for the 8-point plan, right, for everybody, right? May had reached out and said, can we post this on Twitter and Facebook, and we did that. So media highlights could be anything of specific items that you want highlighted that might get people to come in for your agenda item, or anything of that sort. So I just wanted to give that heads up. So May's already taking advantage of that. I don't know if any of the other committee chairs want to do stuff like that, please let me know. I have access to the Twitter account. I can always post to that if there's anything that you want posted for agenda items or specific items that are related to your committee that you want us to post. We will post that. So that's where we are with media. Go ahead, Susan.
Trevor, do you want to put anything about your ESCR updates? Because it seemed from listening at the land use committee the other night, it seems that there are people that don't know that all that information's at your committee every month.
Yeah, I just don't know how to word that because we're really trying to minimize what we discussed instead of going over 10 years of meetings and
no, you don't
presentations. Yeah, so we're trying to move forward and be proactive. I'll think about it. I just don't know what language to put other than we're meeting again, but then we get everyone who gets again and they go, well, when was this plan approved and who approved it? We go back in time every single meeting.
You handle it very well. How about the skate park?
Yeah, that would be interesting. You're right, Brooklyn Banks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would work.
I think it's my suggestion is that we pick the items or try and pick the items at this meeting, because people get so busy then they forget about that.
Okay.
And everyone can always just, if you think of stuff right now, great. If not, you can just always shoot me an email and I'll work on it. We'll go from there. Tariq, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
Have you
Paul, have you thought about Instagram or next steps on that?
Yes, I have thought about it. I am leaning towards a yes on it. I think in my mindset right now, I haven't committed to anything social media just yet because of other things that have been going on. But I am leaning towards yes on Instagram and putting that together. I know I sent you over some of the rules on that. And as long as we follow a lot of that, it's fine. I know I saw the CB6 Instagram, and I believe I sent that over to you and how they use it. It's very minimal, but I think it's something we can definitely use as a tool. I think more people are on Instagram now than Facebook or Twitter, but yeah, I'm not opposed to Instagram at all. We all use it, most of us use it, so I do like that as an option. I cannot speak. That's how hungry I am. As an option going forward. But yeah,
So-
we'll work on it. Don't worry.
Sound
Thank you.
Just a quick question, and it may have been sent out. What are we calling the agenda for next month? Are we calling it, I'm looking for like agenda items, and I should know, but I don't know the correct term, that we usually get in paper.
You did, you got it at least once today.
Okay. What's it called again?
Draft agenda? Is it?
I'm-
It was
I'm
in one of
looking-
the attachments for March, for one of the emails this morning.
Okay, I'll find it.
All right. So that's it. If there's no other questions, then I'm just gonna keep this moving, and let's go to committee reports. SLA. Go ahead, Michelle. I know you had a fun night last night.
Yeah, we had our meeting last night. It would have been on Monday, but it was Valentine's Day and I didn't feel right making bar and restaurant owners come that night. So we heard a total of 9 applications. 1 withdrew during the meeting, and we expect them to come back next month. We passed resolutions for all of them. It's possible that one of them won't sign the stipulations. It's possible that they organize people to come to the meeting. It's Cloister Cafe, which I don't know if any of you are familiar with it. It's been on East 9th Street for like 35 years, but it had its license revoked by the SLA in January 2021 for what seemed to be egregious COVID violations, including having illegal parties, when, if we remember that time, you were required to be sitting spaced 6 feet apart if possible, and everything closing at 11 p.m. across the city. So we passed a resolution giving them 10 p.m. outdoor stipulations for their backyard, which is what our standard. So I'm not sure if they'll sign those because they were able to use their backyard till 4 a.m. Previously because they had no stipulations. So just a heads up in case anything happens at the full board meeting.
All right. Thank you, Michelle. You said there's a possibility they'll show up on Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that happening, but I don't know.
David Grant, you have your hand up.
So okay, I just want to emphasize to everyone here, we need to do 10 p.m. closing uniformly, or we're going to lose the ability to get that to happen in the future. So people are going to be there saying a beloved cafe, we have to keep them in business. Let's make an exception. If that happens, I'm going to make this little speech here, but anyway, enough said.
Thank you, David. Okay. So if there's any other comments, we'll move on to the next report, which is Trevor and Parks. Go ahead, Trevor.
Always an interesting meeting. Once again, update on the East Side Coastal Resiliency project, mostly construction updates, but 2 important things, or 2 unique things. They are replacing the Delancey Street Bridge, which is a huge undertaking, but it will be replaced. The construction has already started on the removal of that bridge, and they will also be replacing Corliss Hook Bridge. And both of them will be ADA accessible, so that's good news. The amphitheater working group will start to talk about the design for the canopy. That will happen from, I believe, next month throughout the summer. We will see final designs in October. The Brooklyn Montgomery Coastal Resiliency Project will start this summer. That's a coastal resiliency project for 2 bridges, so we'll see construction beginning this summer. Pier 42, the upland deck, will be open this summer also. I think it's an ambitious timeline, but they say it will be open this year. But to get a brand new park section open in less than a year is amazing for the parks. Yet to be seen. This is just a note for in general, and I'm sure Susan's already aware, but Gigi is at EDC as Vice President of Government Relations. So she will, most of the waterfront in our area from Pier 42 down to Brooklyn Bridge and beyond is all EDC property. So it is a significant development for us. That's all I have, unless some folks have questions.
Does anybody have questions for Trevor? Thanks, Trevor. Okay, next is our interim chair for transportation, David. Go ahead, buddy.
Okay. The surprise was that DOT came to us with a proposal last month, right? So we wrote up our resolution this week. The proposal was Grand Street and Clinton, free up the traffic jam there by making traffic go 2 more blocks. If you're coming from the FDR, go 2 more blocks on Grand and take a right on Norfolk. But the Norfolk Broome intersection is basically the same kind of situation that is at Grand and Clinton. So the committee decided not to approve that. And there are going to be people at the board, because people basically unmuted to express their pleasure at the last full board meeting about the Norfolk plan. So anyway, that's the story there. We've asked them to come up with something. They did, and we turned it down because, well, sadly, there's just really not a good solution. And this one was decidedly not good. Okay. And the other item is, anyway, NYU, we sent a resolution of displeasure that we don't want NYU to be doing any buses. So please don't give them bus stop, and that's going to have no effect. Questions?
That's their hand up. Michelle and then Susan.
I was just going to add to what David said, that the reason why we rejected it is because the planner said, or the guy from DOT said, that the plan would encourage more cars to come to the neighborhood. So a specific question that I asked him was, what about if they're going to turn Norfolk into 2 lanes? What if you don't turn Norfolk into 2 lanes and you just make it worse for cars so they don't come here? Which is basically, he said, if you make it easier, the more of them will come. So that was the main reason why we rejected it. So I asked him, could you model what it would look like if you still diverted the traffic to Norfolk, but did not make it easier for them by giving them 2 lanes effectively? So one thing we didn't discuss, and I wish we had, is a delayed cross signal on Clinton and Grand. But anyway, just the point is, it was going to bring more cars. We don't need more cars here. I just saw someone almost get backed over when I was walking down Grand Street, and a woman run through a red light. So we don't need more cars here.
You sure? We don't need more cars? Go ahead, Susan.
So David, I did not send you the exact items because I didn't think about you coming. I just forwarded them to you. The only thing we have on the agenda for next month is a block party.
Questions?
Sound like a pretty slim meeting. We have to do the block party.
Yeah.
Question?
Go ahead, Trevor.
The New York Roadrunners half marathon is back, and that comes through our district.
I looked at the route. It looked like it didn't go through us at all.
Oh, you did? I couldn't find it. It's up now?
I Googled it.
Because it says it goes off the Manhattan Bridge. So I guess it goes.
What it said was that it didn't go through any of our streets. I think it was just trying to remember how it got on the FDR. If you want to take another look, I certainly can. I looked it up with the intent of inviting them if they were going to come through.
Okay.
or at least having a meeting somewhere. But you should take a look at it. I didn't see it going through, but if you want to take a look and let me know. The block party, David, is one I would suggest rejecting because it's on Orchard Street on Saturday afternoon.
Oh, okay. Okay, it does sound like the Roadrunner. If they're coming over the bridge, they must be at least skirting our streets to get to the FDR.
No, we'll look at that. If I
Okay.
could ask them, I could,
Thanks.
some years they came and some years we had meetings at the precinct with just so, everyone involved, but we'll figure that out.
Thanks. That's it.
Okay, thank you, David. Appreciate it. There was no economic development meeting this month. Human Services may go right ahead.
Well, we had a meeting last month, and as Paul mentioned, we invited Eric Butcher to, he's now the city council person who replaced Corey Johnson, to talk about his 8-point mental health plan. Some of you may have read about it because he's done op-eds about it, and he talks about his personal story, how it's an important issue to him. So it was a very good plan, and he used to be a public member of CB3 at one time, quite a number of years ago. So it's good to see him back. So he just gave an intro to the plan. And after the meeting, I heard that they don't particularly have it's a lot of stuff. They don't have a schedule, to, pass laws or, to push for legislation or any kind of policies to implement the plan. But they are still looking for, feedback about their plan and what people think we should be, or he should be doing. So we'll discuss that at the next meeting since we heard him present, and we'll see if we have anything. Some of it may be for budget priorities. I can see that, and some of it may be more for suggested changes in policy or new legislation.
All right. Thank
Yeah,
you,
and I
ma'am.
heard that PS 19 and East Village Community School, the PEP, voted for their merger unanimously. So we'll, keep track of that and see, what kind. I mean, it's, they don't, schools don't just merge. I mean, they'll have a lot of needs just to. The work starts, later. So I'm sure they'll have a lot of needs, and we should keep track of it and see how we can be helpful.
Thank you, May. Any questions for me?
Hi, May, this is Herman. Is there any update on the Mount Sinai Beth Israel retaining a portion of the existing building on 17th Street and the new construction on 13th Street?
No.
Not since last time. They've completely, they're like reversed the whole plan. You know about that, right?
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it. I mean, that's where it is now, or there's any, thought maybe there's something else they're coming up with.
They're not ready yet.
Okay.
No, they're still, but we'll
All right.
keep everyone informed, or we'll find out.
Thanks, man. Land use, Jackie.
Thank you. Hold on 1 second. So we had a nonprofit came in to talk about the first home down payment subsidy. The subsidy recently increased from 40,000 to 100,000, and they came to talk about the qualification and restrictions of the program. This is the HPD program because this is the first year we put affordable ownership in our district need statement. So it's actually we wanted to be available to our Lower East Side moderate and low income and moderate family to use and take advantage of. And the committee members were really interested in the program. They asked a lot of questions, and surprisingly, they told us many of their transactions actually are in Lower East Side. But when I reached out to, before the meeting, I reached out to Human and Seward. Both co-ops don't take it, so I thought maybe the utilization in our area is low, but turned out it's not, and they are going to give us the locations of the buildings that these programs they see used. And also the Charas committee came to give us an update on their recent developments, such as their foreclosure that I'm sure every one of you are aware of. And CB3 has a long history of support to acquire the property by the city and return it to the arts and cultural purpose. And we also agreed to send the new mayor the old letter with some minor updates, but the position has no change, so it didn't require a vote. And that's it.
Jackie, well, the question comes from me. So you said you sent the old letter that's been sent in the past, and you just made some minor changes to it,
right,
that you're sending to Mayor Adams? Is that
yes,
in support of
the new mayor? It's the old letter with some minor change. No change on the position, just change a little bit of the update, tweak a little bit, and then send to the new mayor. Yes.
The
Okay,
old letter was not from Community Board 3 though, right?
The old letter was from Community Board 3, if I remember correctly.
I don't know, but it really doesn't matter. I thought the resolution was from Community Board 3, but doesn't really matter anyway.
Okay, and you said it didn't require a vote, right?
It doesn't. Yeah. So I checked with Susan before we did that. We didn't need to take a vote on that.
Okay. Thank you, Jackie. Any questions for Jackie? Okay, thank you, Jackie. Linda, no landmarks, right? Oh, okay, all right. Takes care of that. Any old business?
Say that I think this is COVID related, that we haven't had any certificate of appropriate applications for many months. Whereas in prior years, pre-COVID, we pretty much had, not 11 months of meetings, but maybe 8 or 9 every year. So I can only assume that property owners are not, undertaking projects that would require a review.
Gotcha. Thank you. Any old business? Very silent. All right. Any new business? Also quite silent. All right. That's about it. And if there's nothing else, I think I'm breaking another record. This is not good. I'm gonna try to go like 2 hours next time.
Need final vote then.
So, all right, Larissa, let's go with close out vote.
I'm impressed, Paul. Great job.
Oh yeah, hold on. Herman, are you trying to say something?
No, I was just saying that call the roll before the yeah.
We'll call in the row.
Or anyone
Go ahead,
gets
Larissa.
bright ideas. Okay, Paul Rangel,
Yes.
Eric Diaz,
Yes.
Tariq Darrow,
Yes.
Marissa Chamber, present. Laura Lugo. Here. Herman Hewitt.
Yeah.
Okay, May Lee,
Here.
Jackie Wong,
Yeah.
and Linda Jones.
Here.
All right, everyone.
Trevor Holland here.
And Trevor, yeah, sorry, they're on the second, it dropped off to the second page. We got Trevor Holland and Michelle Coopersmith.
Yes.
Now,
Am I on this list? I'm not saying I need to be.
no, but I know, but I can add you because you were interim chair. That's okay?
It's okay by me. I don't
Paul,
officially.
no,
Doesn't
Paul.
matter to me either, but here.
You guys should let me know. Should David be on this or no?
Today, yes.
Okay, I'm putting him on. Thank you, David.
Yeah, I was asking for next month, actually. I know how much he loves going to extra meetings.
Oh, yeah, just relishes it.
All right, everyone. Okay.
These ones
everyone-
are a pleasure.
We're good, right? Attendance is good. Larissa, you good?
We're good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
Thank
We
you.
are
Good night.
adjourned. I will see you
Okay.
all Tuesday
Wonderful
night.
evening,
Good
everybody.
night.
Stay safe.
See you full board.
Yeah, full board.